Stream elements. Bill 1949T is now live. Streaming DCS World, My Flight Simming, DCS.
Test, test, test. Okay, I take it Dan's viewing.
Sundowns. ID watch you test all day.
Oh, hello, Centre. It's Centre. It's not. I thought that was going to be Dan there. So okay, yeah. Very nice of you to say so, Centre. Thanks very much. What I'm doing is I'm actually checking for sounds. So I've got Dan watching on his laptop at this live stream, and he's going to help me to assess the changes I'm making to sound, because I want my mic to be not too loud, not too soft, and I want it to be brighter to sound a bit more like an aircraft radio to my viewers. At the moment it doesn't sound like that, and I'm not sure how well it's going to work. Well, we're going to give it a try. At the moment I have no effect on there, so Dan, if you copy, can you give me a quick yo or something? Not sure if Dan's receiving. I've now got 2 viewers on YouTube by the looks of it, so it looks as though... Oh. Okay, so now we have Dan is going to be replying to me on WhatsApp. Because of the delay that he's going to see, he's going to be able to reply to me quicker by using WhatsApp rather than typing in this chat. Right, so Dan, are you receiving at the moment? Okay, not sure Dan's receiving at the moment. Oh, he is, right, I've got a yep. Okay, right, this is currently with no effects on the mic, so this is there's no enhancement on the mic at all. I'm now, without starting up or anything, I'm now going to put the enhancements on and see if it makes any difference. Stand by. Right, I've added 3-band EQ. Does that sound any different to what it sounded before? Ah, great. So they're noticeable
Sundowns.
favourably or not?
Considerably louder to me.
Yeah, I'm going to bring my mic volume down a bit actually. And hopefully, because it was bashing up fully into the red. Now it's not all fully into the red, but it is touching on the red if I speak loud enough. I'm going to bring that back up a fraction. Okay, I'm now receiving information from Dan. Reduce the high a bit and boost the mid a lot. Okay, okay. Stand by. I'll come back when I've done that. I don't know if this affects before I okay it. So I've now moved the EQ as you suggested, but I'm not sure if you're hearing me. According to what I'm seeing on OBS, you should be hearing me. So now I've got, oh no, 80%. Both of the high and the mid are set to 80% roughly. Okay, so I've brought the enhancement down. I've taken the high down and the mid up. Has that made a difference? Okay, Dan's telling me that the high is highlighting the little buzz that I get in the background. So I might bring the high down a bit further. By the way, for the sake of Dan, I'm not trying to actually achieve a radio sound. I don't suspect that's possible. But I would just want to reduce the bottom end and give it a bit more clarity with some high end and mid. Okay, I'm going to reduce them now. Tell me if it makes a difference, because I'm not closing this screen to rather than keep closing and opening it, I'm leaving it open. So I'm going to reduce them by about half of what they are at the moment and see if it makes a noticeable difference. Okay, I've reduced them now to about half of what they were. Has that made a noticeable difference? Or I might have to close the screen for my changes to take effect. That's what I'm thinking. Bring the mic down a bit more, yeah. But that might change once I start the engine and get flying, because I will need to get flying to check this. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this window and then see if it makes a difference to you. Right, I've now closed that window in case you need to close it for it to register. What does it sound like at the moment? And I think I reduced the mic level too much just then, so I brought it back up a fraction. Actually, I'm sliding them about to see if there's a difference, but I can just turn them on and off, can't I? So maybe I'll try that and see if it makes the difference even without closing that window. That's the thing. I don't know if closing the window causes it to register or whether it will register anyway. Right, I've now got the filters window open, and I'm going to turn off, I'm going to put the 3-band EQ back up higher. So the EQ is now high. I'm going to close this window, or well, no, I'll turn off the 3-band EQ, see if that makes a difference. So this is the EQ on, and this is the EQ turned off. Is that making any difference? I'll do it again. This is turned off. This is turned on. This is turned off. Okay, so it sounds like you're hearing changes without me having to close that window. Does that sound right? Okay. Off is better. Oh, well, that's not what I was hoping for. Okay, what about, hold on. I've got about 25% on the EQ now. Does that make it better? Oh, hang on, it's turned off. So it's turned off. I'm going to turn it on again. But this is about 25% of what it was before. Okay, I'm going to bring it up again. No, hang on. I'll close it and see if it. Listen to what you're hearing now. I'm going to close it and close the window and see if the sound changes. If it does, that means that the window has to be closed to take effect. Yeah, I was doing that earlier on, turning it on and off. Hold on. So this is EQ turned on. EQ turned off, EQ turned on, EQ turned off, EQ turned on. if there were no differences there, then obviously I have to close the window for that EQ to take any effect.
Sundowns. Definitely differences while open.
Stand by, Santa. Okay, Dan is still helping me. Thank you for that, Santa. Differences whilst open. Yeah, that's what Dan was just saying. That it seems that with the window, the EQ window still open, I can move the EQ about, and it still makes a difference. I don't have to close the window for those changes to take effect, I think. Okay, Dan's ready for another check. So this is with full, mid and full high. Except I didn't turn it back on. Hold on. So that's with the EQ off. This is EQ on, and this is full mid and full high. The idea, Santa, is to get a clearer voice from me, and to set volumes. So to set volumes properly, I've got to take off. Okay, thank you, Dan. What is the recommendation then? Big difference, can tell. We are currently with 3-band turned on, and mid and high are at max. So what's the recommendation on that? Reduce the EQ back to 20% on each one, on high and mid. Here we go. I'm guessing the 20% because it's not marked in percentages, but that's roughly it. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll need to. So the sound at the moment, is the sound clearer as opposed to being like the more muffled sound that we had before? I'm going to start my engine. Boost the high up to 50. Okay, okay. Right, the high is now at 50 and the mid is at around about 25, something like that. I won't start the engine just yet. I'll wait for your response on the 50% change on the high. Yeah, the EQ is on all the time. I'm not turning that off. I haven't yet used compressor. Before I start the engine, do you want me to try compressor to see what that does? Copy that. Stand by. Desktop sound down. Is that sufficient? And I've boosted the oh, not much though. Actually, yes, because I've cut down the EQ. I've now got my mic volume back up to 100%, which is where it was before. But it's not ever so loud, unless I bring up the high and the mid again. Right, how's that? So this is let's call it final test, so that you can know what we're talking about. Final test before takeoff. Boost some high still, okay. How about that? That's with the high boosted again, and mic is at 100%, and I'm just peaking, just about, not very often, peaking into the red. Okay, I'm going to put compressor on and let me know if that makes any difference. Compressor coming on now. Right, the compressor's now on. Has that made any difference? Mic down to 95. That's a difficult call, but I'll try. Can't tell the difference on the compressor. Okay, I'll leave that off to uncomplicate it. And now I'm going to take off and see how it sounds. Yeah, the mic's not really going into the red. It's in the amber, and if I was to speak loud enough and close enough, it just about peaked. Just about peaked. So I'm going to move out. Okay, here we go. Break off. Hang on, I didn't set my trims. Okay, I got away with it just about. Shows how important trim is. Hello, Temple Night. Just doing some checks on sound, so I won't be able to talk too much. But doing checks on sound. Dan is here helping me to do checks on sound changes that I've made. So, Dan, what's that like now? I'm sort of talking in a normal voice, I think. And this is likely to be the loudest that the aircraft is going to sound.
Everything is like the UK right now. Everything is foggy, wet, moist and miserable.
Yeah, UK, moist and miserable. Okay, sorry, Tim, I've got to break off. Dan, all sounds good. The high allows it to cut through a bit better. Which is what you're planning. Yes, it is. That's exactly what I was hoping for. So hopefully that will make a difference, and hopefully it won't be too cutting over the aircraft radio, which I can't check, of course. I'll close the canopy, which won't really make any difference to this sound check, but just to cover the range.
Hotel Claret, and my farm boots just developed also, that makes everything better.
Templar Knight just advises me that his farm boots just developed a hole, so that makes, because he's got sort of wet, miserable weather over there. If possible, okay, stand by. Sorry, Templar, I'm back talking to Dan. If possible, wash your flame, turn off. Let's just see. Hold on. Right, the EQ is now turned off. How's that?
Hotel Claret, sounds good.
Thanks, Templar. I need to wait for Dan's response on that as well. EQ makes a great difference, says Dan. Are you talking about a positive difference? I'm putting it back on. EQ is now back on. Lovely, thank you for that. That's a big help. That's a big help. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, that it was muffled without the EQ. I say, I'm just hoping it doesn't affect the aircraft radio too much for the others. Something like, yeah, you will, with the EQ on, you will hear a bit more buzzing because it's accentuating the upper end a little bit, but I kind of need that. Excellent stuff. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for Templar. Thank you, Santa, if you're still there. Let's open the canopy again and just check the sound. Right, this is just a test transmission for the sake of Dan again, just so you can see what's happening on the video meters. That's what I get for not looking where I'm flying. Okay, Centre and Templar, if you're still there, I'm now going to close the stream because I want to go and listen for myself to see what it sounds like. I've now seen a few people on Twitch. So before I sign off and close the stream, does anyone want to jump in and say a quick hello so I know who's there? I know we've got Templar Knight. I know that we've got, we had Centre Holmes. Who else?
rearming.
Copy.
If you're there, Dan, I don't know if you caught that. I can do it again if you like, if needed. Just for level, not so much the sound, it's just for the level. Lovely, thank you.
Rearming complete.
Thank you to Dan for confirming the ground staff. We heard the ground staff. I think I've gone as far as I can with the setting up and the checking with Dan. I think what I now need to do is go to the right, the ground staff are a little louder than me. Well, I don't mind that too much because when the engine's running. Do you think I should bring the ground staff down a bit, or do you think it's okay? That also applies to the radio. So do you think I should bring that down a bit or leave as is? Okay, I'll start the engine. Stand by. Yep, I will. I'll start the engine and ask for rearm. Right, I'll now ask for the ground crew to rearm me.
Request rearming.
Copy.
For the sake of anyone that's just joined, I've now got more viewers than I actually, I won't say want, but I'm just testing at the moment. So and Dan's helping me separately.
Rearming complete.
That sounds okay. So I've made certain changes to the sound of my mic with EQ, and certain changes to levels, i.e. the engine and the mic level. Yep, thank you for that, Dan. Thank you. It's all good information. So ground crew a little louder than the engine, which will be in the background. Yeah, because otherwise I won't be able to hear them through the air. Although I don't know if they speak on. I don't know if that actually works. I imagine they've got. Yeah, they've probably got a plug-in. But when you have power. Ground power supplied, it probably also has comms. So yeah, you would hear it in your helmet quite noticeably. Okay, folks. For those there listening, thank you for being there and for helping as you could. I'm now going to close the stream because I need to go and watch my stream and listen to the sounds which I can't hear whilst I'm doing it. I've got to listen to the replay of the stream. Thanks for being there. I'll catch you hopefully at least this coming Friday. Take care all. TTFN. Okay, folks, I'm back on the start screen, so closing the stream now. Thanks for being